Welcome to the podcast Selling Real Estate with Kelly Cook, where we will discuss the latest and most relevant business strategies to help you do one thing extremely well: sell more homes. We'll discuss everything from business planning to lead generation and conversion to past client customer service and everything in between. Join us for authentic conversations and nuts and bolts takeaways you can implement into your business today. And now, Selling Real Estate with Kelly Cook.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Selling Real Estate with Kelly Cook. As always, we've got Kelly Cook here. It wouldn't be the same show without him. Kelly, how are you doing today?
Doing great. I love podcasting. It's so much fun. And Elizabeth, it's been a while since we've been doing this podcast, and hopefully, I know looking at
I think 2019.
Yeah, years. Yeah, and I know people are just it's weird because I look at the analytics and people are just starting to like discover it like at scale. So we're seeing a lot of momentum happen right now, which is really cool. But hopefully, we're bringing really good content to the real estate space and some guests here and there. And we'll have a guest next week too, by the way, which is going to be great. Looking forward to that. But today, I'm looking forward to a little conversation that we're going to have about winning.
Winning, always. We always have to have conversations about winning, right? And real quick, just as Kelly said, kind of starting to get more listeners, and we know that there is no shortage of real estate content out there. Probably one of the top industries that have content to help you get better, to have these conversations. And so we really appreciate that you take some time, listen to our short podcast here, to hopefully, like Kelly said, bring you value and kind of entertain you a little bit, I hope, as well. So thank you. But today, winning the year, we kind of talked about winning the year. It's 2023 now. We're getting started. We're pretty far into January now. We've talked about goals setting throughout the year. We've talked about your self-reflection, your self-awareness, all of those kind of big ideas, right? And so today we want to talk about how you can kind of take those big ideas and make them actionable, right? Little by little, day by day. So today we're going to talk about kind of winning the morning and how that leads to winning the day. It's a topic that we have discussed before, but I think it's really important to kind of bring it back now that we have these large goals in mind and kind of go through that. So Kelly, what was the first thing you did this morning? How did you win your morning today?
You know what? The first thing I did after getting up, I actually went by, this is a true story, I went by my kids' rooms when it's 5 o'clock in the morning, and
they're sleeping, I assume.
They're sleeping. Yeah, they're not. Yeah, they're sleeping. Yeah.
They're not early birds yet.
Not yet, but one day, hopefully, I'll rub off on them a little bit, right? And I literally said, you know what? Thank you, God, for miracle number 1, miracle number 2, and miracle number 3, right? Because that's what they are, right? And they're 8, 9, 11, right? So they're still small, but not like terribly small. But pretty soon, they're going to be really big, right? And so just the time you have with them is really, really important and cool. So that's what I did, because I think gratitude is a very big part of winning the day. And when the day starts with winning the morning, like you just said, Elizabeth. So you got to wake up and have a lot of gratitude in your heart for just little things, right? Whether you're religious or not is irrelevant. But I remember my pastor a long time ago, I heard him say this, because we belong to a non-denominational church. We're Christian. And he just made his comment, he goes, before I even get vertical and put my feet on the ground every morning, I just say, thank you, Lord, for the day, right? For the opportunity, one more day, And so just gratitude, little things like that, right? A lot of people have, cancer and all these crazy diseases or don't have, or missing a leg or an arm, right? And we're able to walk around and have a lot of good things happen to us and be in good health. And so be grateful for it. That's getting your mindset, getting your mind in the right place to begin with, right? So I think gratitude is a huge thing. So to answer your question, that's what I did first and foremost. And then, of course, straight to the coffee machine. Straight to the coffee.
Of course. And you made your coffee. You didn't go buy it, spending all the money at Starbucks.
I didn't. But you know what? I will say this: I didn't do pot coffee. I'll be honest with you. I use the Keurig, so I cheat a little bit.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah.
But I do that, and then after I do that, Elizabeth, I'll be honest with you too. I always try to drink a full glass of water first, right? Because that's what's supposed to give you the most energy, like lukewarm, regular, room temperature water. And so it's hard for me in the morning. It's hard. I don't know if it's the same way for everybody else, but man, for the reason you think you'd be like starving when you first wake up, I'm not super full either. I'm just like a normal person, even though I've been asleep for 7 hours, whatever. And so trying to get that whole glass of water down is tough, but I do it because I know that's good for you. I know my body would love to have that as opposed to the coffee I'm about to drink, but I want the coffee, right?
So you gotta have balance.
Gotta have balance, right? So I try to slam the water as much as I can, the whole glass first, and then I get the coffee. That's sort of the reward, right? So that's what I start the day with doing. And I have that coffee in a quiet place. I don't know, guys. I love the morning when it's quiet. I love it. There's nothing like it. In fact, it's funny because every time I wake up and I get started and it's early in the morning, 5 o'clock, whatever, I always sit there and wonder or wish, man, what if I would have got up at 4:30, right? Had a little more extra time in the morning. How cool would that be? But of course, when the alarm goes off at 4:30, you're like, no.
I'm taking some time.
No.
This bed is too warm. Yeah.
This bed is way too warm. So it's hard. And plus your body needs some sleep. You can't run on 5-6 hours of sleep, your entire life. You will take years off your life. I firmly believe that. And for a while I did that. I ran like for a couple of years at like 4:30, getting like 6 hours at night max, right? And then I'd be at 5 hours sometimes. And that's what it takes me for a short or a season, but then that's not sustainable and that's not good long-term health anyways, right? So I don't recommend that, but I do recommend to be very, very, what's the word? Time management, very blocked with your time, right? So that you go to bed at a certain time and you wake up at a certain time. And ideally, it's not like 11 to 7, right? It's more like 9 to 5, right? You're sleeping if you need 8 hours or 7. 7 to 9 is what all the scientists say you need, right? So I'd recommend at least getting 7. That's about what I do, right? If you can get 8, awesome. Good for you, right? Good for you. But I think that's a big part of it. Now, some of you guys know about the Miracle Morning, right? We talked about the Miracle Morning book by Hal Elrod. Phenomenal book. That actually changed my life to an extent, right? My career, at least, because I took the morning serious. And before that, I always kind of knew it seemed right. And it seemed like a lot of people kind of
all the successful people get up early. Like that's
exactly right.
Something that
Yeah,
like,
it's weird because
you've heard and you have seen forever,
Yeah, you might get the same amount of hours of sleep by going to bed at midnight, but it's weird. Like 12 midnight to 7, not the same as whatever, like 8 to 4 in the morning, whatever it is, right? So the morning is very, very important. And they have this acronym called SAVERS in the book, right? And it talks about what you think, and they stand for something, right? Like affirmations and visualization and exercise and all these things that you should be doing in the morning. So one thing I always took away from that SAVERS in that book is that you should earn, or you need to earn, your shower. I love that, right? So you don't get to just wake up, stretch a little bit, and go right to the shower. No. Take your warm shower. No, you got to earn it. So you have to do something. It doesn't mean you have to go to the gym, right? You could do an at-home workout, do some push-ups, jumping jacks at home, whatever, right?
Take
but
the dog on a brisk walk.
Yeah, get the heartbeat going, right? Because now you're telling your body, first of all, your body needs physical activity, and you're telling your mind it's go time, right? And this is the time where good ideas come out and all this spontaneity, right? I can't say that word, but you're spontaneous. That's the word, right? So anyways, that being said, that's the morning is very, very important to me. I do that. That's how I know I'm setting myself up to win the day. And then the journaling, scribing is the other S, right? At the very end, which I'm not, I very admit to you guys, I am not very good at. I'm just not. I enjoy it when I do it. I just don't force myself to do it as much as I need to, because I run a digital calendar, right? And so I know what I need to do for the day and that sort of thing. And I go through all that in the morning. But in terms of writing down what I'm grateful
physically
for,
writing it down. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But don't take my advice from standpoint of not doing it. Take my advice of what I say, not as I do on that one, because, a goal that you write down is like, 1,000 times more to be achieved. But if you don't write it down, you'll get that too as well. Like you will accomplish the goals you don't write down also. And those are the ones you don't want to accomplish, right? Because why? You didn't write it down. So either way, it's going to turn out to be not how you probably envisioned it to be, in terms of what that goal was that you wanted to accomplish. So write it down, be serious about it, and don't want to do it. Actually want to do it. Because if you just say you want to do it, everybody says they want to have a 6-pack, right? But you don't have to have a 6-pack. But that's your goal to have a 6-pack. Then don't just say you want it. The 6-pack ain't going to come and just tap you on the shoulder and say, I want to come onto your stomach.
Boy, that'd be
right?
Nice, huh? Yeah.
That'd be fantastic, right? But it's not. So the difference between saying you would like to have it, because who wouldn't, right? Or I'm going to accomplish that, because that's, for whatever reason, that's my goal. That's what I want. So anyways, real estate's no different, guys. Work goals, whatever it is, no different at all. But the key is once you win the morning, okay, and then you're off to your work, off to whatever it is you're doing, The key is then knowing and being very clear on how you win the day, how you win the day. And some of you are probably thinking, well, I don't know how I do that. Well, that's why you listen to this podcast, because you're going to be told
We'll
what
tell
our
you.
opinion is.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. What to do and how to win the day.
You don't have to figure it out.
Exactly. So how you win the day, guys, is by knowing the one number that needs to be accomplished for that day. Okay, great, Kelly. What number is that? I can't close a deal every single day of the year. And for the vast majority of real estate agents, you're right. You can't. I mean, that's a lot of deals, right? That's 262 working days out of the year. That's a lot of deals. And most people don't close that many. So how do you know you won the day? You know you won the day by the metric you set that has nothing to do with closing or making money that you accomplish. And for us, we call them opportunities. Some people call them nurturers. These are conversations you're having with people, whether in person or on the phone, where they do agree to allow you to follow up with them at some point in the future, because that's a whole other podcast about how you then choose to follow up. But they agree to let you do that, and they're not completely sold on working with another agent already when that time does come. Mm-hmm. So those two things are huge. Now, some people say, well, also it needs to include the fact that they have some sort of time frame in place, like they're going to buy or sell within 12 months. I don't necessarily subscribe to that, because I fully plan to be in this business, Lord willing, as long as possible, right? So it's 17 years. 17 years went by quickly, and almost 18 years now that I've been in this business. And so I fully intend to be in another 10 years, another 15 years, if at all possible.
Still filling your pipeline regardless.
Yeah, exactly.
And their time frames could change at any time. Like,
bingo.
They're not solidified on that. Things change in an instant.
That's right.
So
that's right. Like, what's the rule there? The rule that everyone says is that they say they're going to buy or sell a house in the next X amount of time. You cut it in half, because buyers are liars and sellers are worse. Mm-hmm. Right? That's the whole saying in real estate. So you cut it in half just to make sure they don't forget about you. Make sure they understand that you have them on your radar, and that you will be following up and you'll be keeping in touch, because when they do buy and sell, you want that at bat. You want that interview. You want to make sure you're in that conversation so that you have the ability to, show them your value and earn the business. That's what it's all about, right? And so it's a long-term perspective when you're doing this real estate thing. So you need to know what your number is. Some people say, well, I have to set one appointment each day. And that's great. That's really what you want. Absolutely. But that's not always realistic necessarily either. But what is realistic is to have conversations. How many you have is up to you, right? You might need 10 to get 3. Pipeline. That's what it's all about. And then you have to have, of course, systems to methodically and appropriately, follow up with them. But that's what it's all about. That's how you win the day. So when you go to bed at night, lay your head on that pillow, you may have not made a dime that day, but you won the day. Was hit. And that's all that matters, guys. And at the end of the day, it's a simple business, and that's all you have to do. But it's tough because people don't want to time block to do it consistently all the time, because it's boring. Mm-hmm. It's boring. But I would submit to you guys and anyone today that if you look at the most successful people on the planet when it comes to business or finance, right? They are very boring. Their lives are boring. Their personality may be awesome, off the charts, and they're very bubbling, but their schedule at one point in their career, at least at one point for quite some time, was very consistent and therefore very boring. But most people don't want to exchange that boringness.
is boring, but consistency is key. We all know both of those kind of word or those sayings, and they're both true and go hand in hand.
100%. You want the magic pill? It's consistency. There you go. All right, mic drop. We're out of here.
Yep.
That's the magic pill. It's consistency, showing up, putting your big boy pants and big girl pants on every day, going somewhere to an environment in which it will help you be the most successful to do what it is that you do, which, by the way, is not going to be the same environment as a roofer or a mailman.
Right.
It's just not, right? They're in a different environment to do their job successfully. Your job is to go out there and help people achieve their real estate goals in a very significant and very timely way, and provide value to them through that. That's not just the same mundane stuff that every other person is talking about or doing, right? So anyways, That's how you win the morning, guys, and that's how you win the day. But remember, you can't win that day until you really win the morning. I firmly believe that even if you know your number, how you win the day, you will have a much more difficult time to hit that number on a consistent daily basis if you don't set yourself up each and every morning to win the morning.
And a lot of those things happen, like you were before you even get to the office. It's setting up your day, like it's your life, setting up your mindset and your.
Yep.
But it's not just the, oh, I'm gonna take the morning, however, and then when I get to the office, I'm gonna get to work. No, you've got to wake up and start that process right then and there. And kind of going back to the overall theme of this, consistency, doing that every day is how you win the day, win the week, win the month, win the year, and and get to your goals.
Yep. That's right. It's really not anyone who is successful. They have been successful in a career, right? Inside of some sort of career. It's not a career. It's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. Success is a lifestyle because it is consistent. It's the same over and over again for at least a period of time. And if you don't do it, it's just not going to happen, right? You can have a career that is, successful by maybe a lot of people's standards, but it's not successful by, top echelon standards, whatever, right? Or probably what you wanted for yourself, even because it wasn't ever a lifestyle. You never fully bought in and committed to it. It's funny because live it, because and it could be because someone forces you to, or somebody does not, and you actually force yourself. Now, in most people that are successful, that are entrepreneurial, right? They have to do it themselves, right? There's no one that's forcing them to show up and do it. But it's funny because I used to coach college football, and these guys work a lot, right? These guys work 95 hours a week. When you talk about recruiting and all kinds of stuff, right? They do. And some people ask me, you go, Kelly, why'd you get out of coaching college football? That's a cool job, right? Like, man, that's really cool. And there's no doubt it is super cool. There's nothing like game day. It is the best ever. I'm a football guy. It's the best ever. The problem was, I described to everybody that, because it wasn't a career, it was a lifestyle, right? It was a lifestyle and a lifestyle in which one that I had no control over, which is the second part of this, right? Like, you have to have some sort of control over that lifestyle. If you want to work 95 hours a week in most professions, you'd be, or lifestyle careers, whatever, you'd be handsomely rewarded for that. In college football, unfortunately, you can get fired for it because there's not enough games that, you won, unfortunately, right? Because you can put the work in, but if, the player doesn't do what he's coached to do, more times than not, you lose games. The player doesn't get fired. You get fired as a coach, right? So that's a little bit different from that standpoint, but you're still putting the time in, and it became a lifestyle that you just had no control over, right? The good thing in real estate is you have full control over it. You're an entrepreneur. You're in charge. You're the CEO of your own business, whether you're on a team or not. It makes no difference. You're still the CEO of your business, and how you choose to run it, and how you choose to show up to the people that you support and are maybe in charge of, and maybe it's only yourself. You're the CEO of your own business. That will dictate how much success you have as you move forward through your career. So, but it starts with one simple step: A, making the decision to control and win your morning, and B, then actually doing it every day.
Following through. Mm-hmm.
Yep, following through. Yep. That's it.
Well, guys, I know that we've talked a lot about kind of goals and mindset and all of that, but I think it, again, just is really important as we enter in the new year. It's kind of a fresh start, and I really hope that, a lot of these lessons, these mini life lessons or tips, you're taking into account and really practicing. But if one of your goals this year has been to build a real estate team, make sure that you win the day, win the week, win the month, win the year, and have a little bit of help. Go to buildyourrealestateteam.com. Kelly has written out kind of a checklist for you, kind of the steps on how to accomplish this, so that we're helping you out even a little bit more. Please go check that out, download it. And Kelly, if anybody has any questions for you, they want to talk real estate, they want to talk football, maybe they're thinking about going into a coaching career,
I love that.
Football coaching career, where can they reach you?
The Super Bowl is coming to Arizona here in just a little bit, so we can talk about that too. Anything
Absolutely.
football, I'm in. I'm all in, right? But absolutely. Thanks, Elizabeth. It's 480-227-2028 or info@cookandassociatesaz.com. Or, hey, check us out on Instagram. A lot of people are starting to do that because we're putting some cool content out there all the time.
All right.
At Kelly Cook Homes.
Well, that'll have to be another episode too, kind of the social media game, because I know, Kelly, you've been killing it lately. So we'll have to delve into that on another episode. But like Kelly said, we'll have a guest next time, so make sure you tune in. And other than that, everybody, we will see you next week. Bye, Kelly.
Thanks, Elizabeth.
We'll see you next week. Bye, Kelly.
Welcome to the podcast Selling Real Estate with Kelly Cook, where we will discuss the latest and most relevant business strategies to help you do one thing extremely well: sell more homes. We'll discuss everything from business planning to lead generation and conversion to past client customer service and everything in between. Join us for authentic conversations and nuts and bolts takeaways you can implement into your business today. And now, Selling Real Estate with Kelly Cook.